Hello and welcome to the Treasured Page podcast. I'm Melanie and this is our quiet crafting space. And today I'm coming to you from southwest England. I'm very close to the coast here. We might even hear seagulls. So we are going to be discussing junk journaling in this series. We're going to be talking about how we can anchor our memories and create pages of mindful wonderment, how we can feel better about ourselves and to let loose with our craft supplies, how we can use anything and everything without rules, and it doesn't matter. The materials we will be using are recyclable. They are destined for the bin. What is a junk journal? It's a book from the bin. That is the essence of junk journaling in its original form. Junk journaling has evolved over the years, and you will find that you now see lots of different techniques and applications and things that you could use within a junk journal and still be able to call it a junk journal if your fundamental materials that you use could be recycled, whether they were for a one-use time only, such as a newspaper, a magazine, a greeting card. So this is our first episode. I'm very excited to be here for the podcast for the Treasured Page. So if you're new to the Treasured Page and you've not discovered me already on the YouTube channel where I craft and make journals in front of you and show you my techniques, then welcome to this quiet crafting space. If you found me, then you may like to settle in and just take off your shoes, kick back, and this is a relaxing time. This is a break. This is a break in your day to just breathe, to just take a moment and consider creativity and what that means to you, whether you've got that in your life in abundance or whether that's something that you've just not accessed yet. And I say yet because it's within all of us. We all have the potential to find our creative self. That is tapping into our subconscious and being able to do something creative with it, either being able to put it down on paper through any medium that you could think of. The Treasured Page is here for those who want to take special moments in time and preserve them on a page in unique and creative ways. We're here to enjoy the journey and reignite forgotten pastimes as we anchor our memories to special papers in unique creative ways. Hunting for treasure may be a shared childhood memory for those who remember playing in a garden, strolling through the woodland, rambling across the hills and mountains, or walking along a shoreline or riverbank looking for nature's treasures. Many who marvel and delight at the sight of perfect forest pine cones, toadstool clusters, or rich red ruby chestnut conkers among autumn leaves. They may understand the wonder of seeing a fragment of antique china dug up from the earth, edges rounded with age. The forgotten old ornate key and worn coins, rusted locks, old buttons and jewellery from ages lost are hidden away for future finders. For we are the seekers of sea glass, shells and driftwood, hunters of fossils, crystals, coloured sands and smooth stones. Amazed by their patterns and shine, we understand they are made all the more special when drenched in sea water or clear river spring. As we watch in wonder to see their colours dance in the sunlight, know we have found one of nature's treasures. We pause at the sight of iridescent bird feathers, bees and butterfly wings, respecting the peeling and gnarled twisted bark on ancient trees. We are humbled by flickering firelight, as much as watching a dancing dragonfly over a rippling fish pond. There is fun in foraging for an intact acorn or interesting seaweed shapes and coral shards. There is satisfaction at seeing a pebble with a hole to look through like a spyglass while watching a dandelion clock seeds blow away. These are but just a few earth treasures for those who take care to notice them, and for those that pause long enough to wonder why they are there and what their stories hold. So I wrote that before I started the treasured page. It came from my creative depths, and when I read it back, it made me happy and it moved me, because I can't honestly tell you where that came from. I don't remember writing it, but I did. And it was in that moment that I thought, that's my creative side trying to get out. And I think that that's happening for a lot of people as well. We do have a creative side, and it's time to give it a voice, and it's time to practice some techniques and have a go. It's time to see what we're capable of, whether we are going to use paint or ink or paper folds or wool, cotton fabrics, all of the above, and different materials, and clay and putty and movable liquids, gels and mediums, all the possible applications of metal work and feathers, natural organic materials, things that you find on the beach, down up on the mountain and by the sea. All of those things that inspire us, all of those things that talk to our soul. What are you going to put down on a page, a treasured page? What brings a memory back for you? What fires you up? What makes you feel free? What brings you to life and brings that joy? Can you relax if you were to explore some of these things? What about nostalgia and vintage things that remind you of a quiet time or a secure time back with parents or with a loved one? Is this sound of an opening tin and me having a look through a button tin of interest to you? I think you're going to like the treasured page. If you're stuck with me this far, I think you might be intrigued enough to have a look and come and have a play with the materials and the things that you will find around your home. What can you do with a Q-tip cotton bud? Really? It's a paintbrush. You can do a lot of things with things you don't even realise you can have. You can have dental floss as a bookbinding thread. You can have junk mail as your papers. You could use paint or ink or dye from the kitchen or from the garage. You could use children's materials, shoe polish, nail varnish and makeup, your black mascara wand, any wand. You just need to cast some magic on some paper and call it your own and make you feel like your heart is singing with happiness as you complete something that has taken you no time at all. It allowed your brain to switch off, and you can say, I'm proud of that. I'm going to stick it down on a treasured page and keep it and make me feel happy. And that is why we're here. We're here to experience the joy of junk journaling. We're here to experience the joy of any journaling. And we're here to connect with one another around the world that is going to lift our spirits and take us forward into a much kinder, happier, creative place in our homes and in our little bubbles, in our little quiet spaces. If we can feel centred and calm, we can resonate that out to the people around us. And if more and more people do that, then we're just spreading some creativity and love and just looking at things in a different way, lifting the moods and the minds and the hearts of the people around us. And I am very thankful to all of you for listening to the Treasured Page podcast. And if you'd like to come and have a look and see what I get up to at the Treasured Page YouTube channel, you can see how I create things, and perhaps you'd like to watch long enough to see if you'd like to have a go yourself and what you might be able to achieve that will relax you and take you forward in your day-to-day lives that can be really, really busy. Too busy for us to cope with, and can be overwhelming. So the Treasured Page offers you a stopping point, a point to pause, a point to consider your next amazing move. And we're all capable of great strength, no matter what we're going through away from our craft tables or away from the podcast. We can do this, we'll do it together, and if you need a helping hand, a supportive person, a friendly voice, you have the Treasured Page podcast to listen to. And I think it's a perfect place to sit and listen to when you're waiting for something. You know, maybe you're in a car park and you're waiting for somebody, or you're stuck in a waiting room and you're waiting for something that you'd rather not be having. Perhaps you could put on a friendly voice and still take the craft room with you and be able to hear inspirational talk and chat from the craft room table. And that is exactly where I'm coming to you from today. I'm at my craft room table looking at my vintage buttons and deciding whether I'd like an original old mother of pearl button, or perhaps I quite like maybe this wooden one. I'm just moving them about and seeing if I can get this one down, right down at the bottom, just to see. Oh, aren't they lovely? Metal ones, shiny ones, shell, wood, plastic, pearlescent, and just beautiful vintage buttons left to me by my grandmother. And I've selected this very creamy white large button, which I'm going to add to the cover of my journal just as a finishing embellishment, and just to say thank you to my grandma, who's no longer with us. But I'm honouring her memory and using her things, and I think she would appreciate that. And if anybody else is experiencing anything like that, a loss of a loved one, then a quiet crafting space is perfect for you. And I hope that you will come along and join me in mine and be able to create fun and wondrous things together. So thank you all very much for listening to the Treasured Page podcast. Do please follow if you'd like to be updated as to when the next one will be coming out. It's a weekly podcast, and I will see how many we can get up in a week and factor that in, and I would love to be there for you and be available so that you can have a listen and see what you think. But I think the best thing to say to you now is, above everything else, guys, just slow down and make crafting time for you. Bye-bye now.